We're now being joined by the chairman of the Senate Committee on Media and Publicity, Senator Yemi Adaramodu. Thank you so much for making out time on the news. The parting words.
Once again.
Good to see you.
Yeah, the parting words of Senator Akpoto there. This injustice will not be sustained. But the question really is, the Senate Committee on Ethics, Privileges and Public Petitions proceeded in carrying out this disciplinary action despite an existing court order asking them to stay off. Was the Senate not in breach of court? Was this not a contempt of court? Why the rush?
Thank you very much, my dear sister. Thank you. And then I want to say good evening to my fellow Nigerians. The Senate is not in breach of any law. One is that when you look at Section 60, 88, variously and specifically of the Constitution, the Nigerian Senate, which is an arm of government, the legislature, cannot be held back by another arm of government from performing its constitutional duties. That is number one. Number two, when you look at the other section, the 60, then it is expressly stated that the Senate, even the House of Assembly or the House of Representatives, can make laws, make rules that will guide its day-to-day activities. Or else, the National Assembly will be turned to a Tower of Babel. It will be turned to a collage of barbarians, whereby nobody listens, nobody is guided by any norm. So because of this, that's why we have standing orders. And in the chamber, any debate, any discussion is not subject to any action in the law court. That is why the legislature enjoys absolute privilege. That is within the chambers, at the plenary. And everything that was committed was within the chambers and in the plenary. So, and the Senate did not go out of this plenary and the chambers in order to call our own colleague to order. Because what happened was calling her to order to obey order. And while she was asking for order, we said that you cannot ask for order when you are in disorder. Then that was the crux of the matter. And so there's no way another arm of government can now hamper us from going ahead to do that one. For example, does it mean that if the Senate wants to make law, talk about maybe constitutional amendment, then one senator or somebody else will just rush to court and say that Senate or the National Assembly don't make laws again. And that is the end of it. So it means that we can be perpetually restrained even from performing our duties as another arm of government.
Yeah,
it is never so. That is not the intent of the Constitution.
Right.
So the Senate has done what it's supposed to do. So it is a res ipsa locutor. The case has spoken for itself. You broke an order, then that kind of pomposity and aggressive audacity to break that order will be visited by the rules of the Senate. Right. And it has been visited by the rules of the Senate.
Okay, well, let's come to the issue now. 6 months suspension, and some say, is it not rather too punitive? And again, should the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, be sitting over a case, presiding over a case that he has direct,
the case of disobedience to the order of the Senate is not Senator Akpabio's matter. It's the matter of the whole Senate. It's an institution. Akpabio is not the institution. This matter is not Senator Akpabio and versus one other senator. No, it is Senator Natasha and the rest of us. That is the Senate. The Senate is an institution. The order, the standing orders, the outstanding rules of the Senate is not made by Senator Akpabio, and it is not for Senator Akpabio. So it is for the institution. And so when anybody acts irregularly in breach of that order, then definitely the arm of that order, which is the reverse of it, which is punishment, will be visited on that senator, be it anybody.
All right, Senator Adaramodu, I mean, you quote section 60, 68 of the Constitution, 1999 Constitution as amended, but there are those who have also cited section 48 of the same Constitution that says the National Assembly shall subject itself, to the courts. So there's also that section.
That is now let me tell you something. To the extent of that subjecting itself to the court is that when the case is in the court before, so the Senate cannot touch it. That before, but the issue of order 6, the flagrant disobedience and breach of the orders of the Senate had already been on before our own sister went to court. So that is, if the case, like the issue of maybe harassment or no harassment, it had already gone to court. So there's no way.
So in other words, never went to court on that particular case.
The wife of the Senate president went to court.
Okay, so you are clarifying.
To seek redress.
Senator Adaramodu.
To ask for damages.
Yeah, let me just get in my question.
So it's already in the court.
You are clarifying that what the Senate dealt with today was the disobedience to the rules of the Senate, and not sexual harassment at all.
That one was not before us.
But are you concerned? Because we have seen courts overturn suspensions in the past. Senator Ovioma Gege in 2018, Senator Ali Ndume in 2017. In the case of Senator Ali Ndume, the Federal High Court ruled that the suspension was an exhibition of lawlessness by the Nigerian Senate. Is history not about to repeat itself? Are you not setting yourself up as a chamber for legal defeat in the case of Senator Natasha Akpoti?
my sister, you know, cases are very different from each other. When you look at the issue of Senator Omar Agege and that of Senator Ndume, it's not even about the breach of the order, which is the rule of the Senate. Okay, for example, there was a case last year when a senator spoke about budget padding. It was not not within the rules and the orders of the Senate. He granted an interview.
Senator Nengi?
Yes, he granted an interview, and then the Senate felt that this could bring the whole institution to disrepute. They now wielded the big stick.
Okay,
that one was not within the order. It was even outside the order, but not suggesting that the Senate cannot visit its big stick or wear this big stick on any senator that is bringing the institution into disrepute.
On the Omar Agege case, let me start because we have to
yes.
On the Omar Agege case, it was a question of due process. Is that situation not likely to repeat itself?
This is not about due process. This is about order.
Followed in the suspension of Senator Akpoti Uduaghan.
Due process was followed. Because why this process was followed was that there was a complaint against Senator Uduaghan. Then the case was referred to ethics committee. The ethics committee constituted invited the said senator and other senators to come and give witness, to come and give testimonies, including the sergeant at arms. They all came. She refused to come. She was given that leverage. It was announced. It was advertised in the other paper. And she was even in the Senate, in the plenary, when the announcement was made. And then the papers were distributed to everyone variously and specifically, even to the said senator. And so getting that one and failure to appear means that it is further disdainful act
of the
senator against the institution of the Senate.
The court had said that you could not sit over a case.
But Senator Adaramodu,
no, it's not. The case is not Senator Pabio's case. It's the case of the Senate.
Okay.
So unless we are saying that the Senate cannot,
Senator Adaramodu, we know that if you give you all the time, you will go on and on as a spokesperson of the Senate. But are you concerned that the president of the Nigerian Senate is facing accusations of sexual harassment as a Senate, as a chamber? Are you concerned?
Personally, I am not concerned because there's nothing like that before us. That is number one. And then number two is that doesn't mean that if anybody wakes up tomorrow and accuse anybody of anything, then I will just carry the concern of that on my head, get bewildered, get dampened, get disillusioned, get destroyed, get emotionally traumatized, get daunted. No. People will come up with spurious, fastidious, perilous accusations. Well, so that one does not make me to be seriously concerned.
Senator Adaramodu, you've been quoted as saying
because
that
we will
only
treat
hold on.
what is before us.
Yes, understandably
Yes.
so. You've been quoted as saying that Senator Akpotiuduaghan is only creating content. Are you trivializing the issue of
it has shown,
sexual assault?
It has shown that content had been created and that the Senate trended for about 1.5 weeks. The skits had been produced and the entertainment had been rendered to the general public by our own colleague.
Are you trivializing the case?
How is this? Because a legislator knows, a lawmaker knows that you cannot be a lawmaker and be a lawbreaker. A legislator knows that there are orders, and that you are being ruled by these orders, and that is how we organize ourselves.
All right,
and now when you breach it, and you see go further to even deepen even accusations in order to cover up one disorderliness. So definitely you are creating content. Right. Definitely you know that it's going to end up for people to, when you are frustrating a system, you are frustrating an institution. Definitely there is a way that the institution will revisit it and visit a punishment on you. That's what happened. And we have moved on.
We'll see how things pan out.
Peace. And we don't envisage any problem with the Senate anymore. Well, and then a window has already been provided that our colleagues will apologize. And I'm very sure, like Yoruba people will say, aṣọ ẹnìkan kò kí n ká lu aṣọ ìlú ló ń ká ẹnìkan. Meaning that the wrapping cloth of one person cannot accommodate everybody in a town. It is the wrapping cloths of the town that can wrap only one person. So if she takes it like that, then definitely there's no problem, because it's already provided.
So what you're saying, she'll get reprieve if she apologizes. We'll have to leave it there.
It is there. It is the second leg of the
punitive measure.
Yes, of the punitive measure.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us on Newsnight. Senator Yemi Adaramodu is Chairman, Senate Committee on Media and Publicity.